Welcome to Motivate Me, Maine's first and only motivational podcast. This is something I've been trying to get in the works for a couple months. I'm going to be interviewing a lot of Maine's entrepreneurs, business owners, people that have been putting in work, putting in effort with results. My name's Tino, the host, and today's guest is Chris Bagley with Northeast Wraps. Chris, welcome.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be here, man.
Appreciate you coming out, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
It's been a while. I haven't actually really seen you in like a year or two.
Yeah, I think that's about right, actually.
So
a year and change.
Yeah, we're just going to get right into it and start with your introduction, you know, where you're based out of, what you do, what is Northeast Wraps?
So I'm from Saco.
Okay.
That's where I'm based out of Saco. But for the most part, like I'm kind of a mobile business, so I do a lot of traveling around the state. Quick and dirty Northeast Wraps is like, it's in the name. We wrap things, but more specifically, I try to focus on making, helping brands and people kind of get across who they are or get their brand out in front of people's eyes in ways that they may not have thought of.
Yeah.
So anything from like large graphics on vehicles, cars, interior walls, so just like oddball forms of branding.
I've seen you actually wrap some cornhole tables, golf carts, boats, a little bit of everything, which is pretty cool.
I just like to help people do unique things. Like if I like to customize like everything I own. So like everything is like kind of branded sorta in a way.
Right.
Like the shirt is gray and
you got
gray,
the shirt,
like
got the hats. Hook me up with a couple hats.
I've always had a passion for making things look different.
Yep.
And like that, I kind of, as I've gotten older, I just have gravitated towards that. And the wraps was a good way to kind of like, I guess the best way for me to describe it is like, so you ever play Need for Speed when you were a kid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. So like, I don't know if you're like me, but you'd spend like hours customizing the car, right?
The rims, yeah.
So like what I do is kind of like real life Need for Speed in a way. It's like real Photoshop. So like,
sounds fun.
It's cool because you take like an idea from the screen, like we do with your vehicle.
Yeah.
With Camp Masters, from screen to idea to real life product. You can pick it up, put it to work, use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Give us some history. Like, what have you been doing this for a while? Didn't you work for another company?
I did, yeah.
Like, when did you start, and how long have you been doing this?
So my first foray into the sign world, I guess, the sign world is where it started. I was 2011 or 12. I was like 18 or 19 years old, and it was my first summer back from college and just trying to find a job. And I found a posting it might have been my second summer back, but it's whatever. It's a little detail there. I found this posting for a job who needed another hand at a sign shop for a large like fleet rebranding. So it was the first time that it's Consolidated Communications now, but it was Verizon at the time, and they went to Fairpoint. And this guy he had a post out. He's like, look, I got a lot of traveling to do this summer. Got a lot of vehicles to get through, just looking for help. And I was like, okay, I'll try something different. And, at first you do the schlep work.
So it was just a job at first.
Yeah, it was just a job at first, man. And, I did a ton of peeling of graphics. Like basically all summer, I heated up old graphics, peeled it off, cleaned off all the adhesive, and then I did all the prep for the installers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of like my first, like, feet wetting experience in the sign world. And then it kind of snowballed. So like the couple summers after that, I came back, did it some more.
Yeah.
And then I got a professional job doing like web development and graphic design at the University of Maine. And that ended up just not being for me, but
it helped with the business.
It did. Yeah. And like, it was kind of cool because he would send me stuff to go install, and I would just go, like I would run around Bangor or go up to Holton and do these oddball jobs. And I thought it was cool because like you're running up and you're just changing the way things look. Like I just thought it was cool to go into a business and kind of like remodel what they had.
Yeah.
And kind of make it more effective for them.
Yeah, update it.
Yeah.
Get them a new logo.
Yeah. Or, sometimes like, sometimes it's a matter of changing something from like white to blue. But like something simple like that makes a huge difference in your brand.
Absolutely.
So like, I don't know. I just thought that being able to manipulate the way things look was cool.
So when did Northeast Wraps start? When were you going from working for someone to I'm gonna do this on my own?
Yeah, so that was hot.
Was there
and
like
heavy
a minute where you're like,
COVID.
I just gotta do this for myself, or was there a reason, or you're like,
yeah, so like I'd been at the same company for a long time, 10 years total, and like the last like 5 years like heavy, like the last 5 years of that were consistent,
right?
And like the company grew, the company wanted to keep growing, but I wanted to grow. And like, as I was looking at it, there just wasn't going to be a way I could grow with like any more inside the company. So like, it was just one of those things where you kind of had to make the tough call, where it's like, look, my biggest thing is that I'm young. I can take a risk. I don't have too many obligations.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? If, I'm going to grow either one way or the other. I'm growing. So I'm either going to fail and realize this isn't for me, and I'll grow in that regard and find something different, or maybe this is for me and I can build a whole career out of it and kind of fund the rest of my life this way, or the next 10, 20 years, whatever, and then move on to something different, because I'm not one to stay with the same thing forever. I get too bored. So like,
what year was that? What year did what would you say you started Northeast Wraps?
2020.
Yeah, during COVID.
Right, during COVID. Wow. Hot and heavy.
That's cool.
Yeah,
you just came up with the name and you were just like,
more or less. And we just kind of agreed to disagree where I was working before. And at first I thought I was going to go try something totally different. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, you've got some skin in the game.
Right.
You've got some time in. You know how things work. You know what to do. You're doing most of it anyway. So why not just do it for yourself?
Yeah.
Instead of working for somebody else and making them money. And so that's kind of, I decided that it would be worthwhile to at least try.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know unless you try.
No, you don't. That's impressive. I thought you started a long time ago as far as Northeast Wraps. So you've really only been in business 3 years.
Yeah. So I basically took that summer off, because I think I finished working in like June, June or July.
Yeah.
And kind of took the summer off to chill and kind of get my stuff squared away.
I was going to say, did you take out a loan, or did you have to save up for equipment?
So I'd been saving for a little while. So I had a little bit of a nest egg. So I wasn't too concerned with that. But like, luckily with what I do, I didn't need to go and invest a ton in equipment.
Right.
So like, I did have to buy some stuff to make my day-to-day a little easier, but it wasn't too bad, because over the years I had already accumulated like a lot of my
tools
and things like that. Yeah, because I always liked having my own equipment anyway, because it just made the job easier.
Yeah.
So I'd already been investing in my own install tools for the last 3-4 years, so I had most of that ready to go. And I just kind of worked on my branding. I worked on my image. That way, when I went to introduce myself to people, I had something going for me.
Something to go off of.
Yeah. And like, honestly, the hardest thing getting going was posting work that was all my own and not.
Yeah.
So it was hard for a while.
Another company.
Yeah. So it was hard for a while, because like, I couldn't post anything I did, and everybody was like, well, you don't really have much work up. So like, like let's meet in person so I can show you what I've done. And then you rifle through you open the photo gallery on your phone, and you scroll through all your old jobs.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, okay, I think I can trust you. And
you go from there.
Yeah. And like, honestly, that was like earning trust in the beginning was like the hardest part.
Yep. One thing I want to say about Chris is he did my wrap for my vehicle. I have a business, camp maintenance business, called Camp Masters. And I reached out to you early on. I think it was 2020.
Yeah.
And I sent you an idea, and you came back to me with a price. And I got to be honest, I was like, damn. There's kind of a shock factor at first. Nothing against you. I think I was just uneducated. I was a little, I didn't know about it. And then the second year, I saw you do a bunch more work.
Yep.
And I think it was 2021 that I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's actually do this. And you were great. You had you had so many ideas. I had an idea I gave you, and you just kept tweaking it better and better. You sent me like 3 or 4 different copies. Can we do this? Can we do that? And at the time, it was a big expense for me.
Yeah, totally.
Looking back now, it totally paid off.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
People see me everywhere. People recognize me. people see that I'm working.
Yep.
I saw you at Lowe's. I saw you at Sebago. I saw you. They see you moving around. When I pull up to a job site, I look legit.
Yep.
They don't double guess or think anything about it.
Yeah.
So if you're skeptical about getting a wrap and you think it's expensive, it's totally worth it. Definitely do it. You know, put the money aside. It's a write-off. You can write it off.
Yeah, it is a good marketing expense.
It's a good marketing expense. It definitely makes you look more legit, your business more legit. And Chris is the guy. You made it easy. You really did it. And then it was cool to go to your shop and see the print machine and see the cool tools you got. There was like this heat machine. You sent me a picture of this like heat.
Oh, I think it was the IR lamp. I think my infrared lamp.
And it melts it off or something.
Yeah, it warms everything up. So like it's a nice uniform heat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't realize what goes into it. And then I appreciated it more. I'm like, this isn't just a sticker.
Yeah.
You're going to design it. You're going to print it out, put it on, and make it look good. So there's way more that goes into it than just slapping a sticker on.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
It's definitely been a good move, and it's holding up well.
I was checking it out.
It holds up pretty well. Yeah. I'm a little rough on my truck.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
There's a couple dings and dents, but it doesn't really scratch. And like I pressure wash it at the car wash.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly holds up well to
for the record. I'm
the
pretty
weather.
Sure I said no pressure washing.
I was wondering if it would just peel off or like.
Yeah, I was curious too because I know you back into the lake and stuff. And it stays submerged, but like I guess I shouldn't because I do boats all the time and those are sitting in the water.
Yeah. No, it holds up good. I like spilt paint on it. You can wipe it right off.
Yeah.
I mean, it holds up a lot more than I thought it would. I was worried it would peel or, I thought even the sun might crack it or something. Yeah. But it does good.
The only time you really get a crack, and this happened on my car last winter, is if it's really cold out. Like today, actually, it was almost like today. So I was at an RC race in southern Maine. I'm a nerd, so I race RC cars. Yeah. So some lady backed into my car and, low speed, but like crunched the bumper pretty good. And at the time, it looked fine. I went out, looked at it. I was like, it's wrapped, whatever. The paint's fine. No big deal. And the paint is fine. But like once it got warmer, like I think it was June, where it had cracked because you got to stretch vinyl to get it around a bumper, like a curve like that. Yeah. Where it cracked from where she backed into it.
Made a void or something.
Yeah, you can see where it split, and now it looks weird, but.
Yeah. But that's only if someone hits you or bumps.
Yeah, and it was cold. So like if it was warm, like summertime, it wouldn't have cracked.
Yeah.
It's just, when it's 0 degrees out, nothing moves.
So this podcast is all about motivation and motivating people. And I'm just curious, what motivates you? Is it a person? Is it a spouse? Is it, money? Success? What gets you up in the morning and what makes you go wrap things and just hustle?
Dude, I think the biggest thing for me is my wife.
Yep.
Because I want to do good by her, you know what I mean? So I want to be able to provide and things like that and security. And like I'd say that's probably my number one motivator.
That's an awesome reason.
And that definitely keeps me going because if I didn't have somebody to work for, I mean, I'd still work, but it just wouldn't. I don't think I'd have the same drive.
Yeah. Someone to back you up, someone to push you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's also my biggest champion.
Cheerleader. I was just going to say, 100%. Someone to cheer you on. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually went to school with you and your wife. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's a small world. And you guys have been married how long now? You guys have been.
We got married in 2018.
I was going to say, 4.5 years.
Well,
you've been together longer than that, though.
Yeah. So I think we started dating in 15, I think.
Yeah.
But like we were good friends in high school. Like we never dated in high school, but we've known each other since like 6th or 7th.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. You guys have known each other,
Yeah, a long time.
That's cool.
Yeah, we were great friends in high
school.
So
the wife is the best motivation.
Oh, 100%.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
that's a safe answer. Happy wife, happy life.
Happy house, happy spouse, happy house. Yeah, is what we like to say.
Yeah, either or.
Yep, because you both got to be happy. If one person's not happy, it ain't working.
Absolutely. Yeah. What would you say some of your biggest challenges are? What's the most challenging thing in your business? And what is one thing you wish you knew before you started? Like if I could say, before you do this, you're going to want to get this type of machine, or you're going to want to advertise, or, what's the biggest challenge for you? And then what do you wish you knew ahead of time?
So the biggest challenge for me is time management. I 100% operate on like an artist schedule.
Yep.
So like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, that's like 2 days, and it turns into like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Because you're doing artwork, you're doing logos. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the other half is like, I still got to install this stuff. So like,
right. You still
like
gotta do the actual job.
Yeah. And like either way, like it all takes, time. Like sometimes logos come really fast and sometimes they take me weeks to do. And it's the same with like drawing something. So like sometimes I have to sit in front of the computer for like hours in order for shit to come out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, all right. Cool. We can swear on this.
All right, dope. So in order for stuff to come out, sometimes I got to sit there with it like just in my face and think and ponder. And then sometimes the best thing for me to do is to think about it once and then walk away from it for a while. Yeah.
That's artwork.
Yeah.
You can't rush it. You got to start it, come back to it.
Yep.
I'm sure that's tough for your clients too.
Yeah.
They just want something right away. And it's like, this is going to take time. This isn't just.
Yeah. I mean, if you want something to be unique, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Like stuff like, like if we, like my fleet customers, like they pretty much know now that like if I'm going to wrap like, I'll use an ice cream truck, for example, because I know how long it takes me to do that. So they already know that I'm going to have their vehicle for like 2 days and change. And it's expected now. But like stuff like an install, I can go, yeah, that's 8 hours. And it'll be 8 hours. Unless something like, something weird happens.
Right.
But like with artwork, I can be like, like, I guess let me figure this out first. I guess I don't know. So now with artwork, I just kind of tell people like, well, pretty much what I just said. Like sometimes it's 3 days, man. Sometimes it's 3 weeks, man. And then like tough. Time management is tough too, because you want to have a life, right?
Yeah.
But like being self-employed, as you know, if you're not working, you're not making money.
Yep.
So like, and if you don't have any interest in running a company, like in having employees and hiring people, which I kind of really don't. I like my freedom, and I like having less, the less pressure from having to provide for more people. Like providing for my wife and my family is enough already. And having that overhead of, thinking like, oh man, I got to pay Joe this week.
Right. Yeah. I got to make payroll. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to make payroll.
Guys busy.
Oh yeah.
I know how that is. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I got a few guys and it's tough to keep them busy, keep them happy, keep them around.
Yeah.
Keep them going. So sometimes it's easier just to be a one-man show and be efficient. And
I mean, there's definitely times where I'm like, I need some help, like legit help. And then other times where it's like, oh, I'm glad I don't have the help right now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't have to keep help going.
Yeah.
All right. I have kind of a edgy, controversial question. I don't know if you have the answer to it or whatnot, but is paint dead?
Paint is dead.
Paint is dead. Let's say I want to go paint my car.
To an extent.
Okay.
All right.
Are you against it? I mean,
no. So there's everything has the correct application, right? Like it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Like there's the right thing for the right job.
Right.
So this is actually a good example. So I just did a couple of Legends race cars, and like I did the whole design for the thing, including the paint color. So we did a mix of media on the car. So we actually painted the base color blue for the vehicle because, it's going to get banged up. The fenders get scratched.
It's a race car.
It's a race car, yeah. And then the body panels, we did like the inner panels. We did some really cool graphics on those. But so like you have to think about what the application is. Like it's a car. It's easier for somebody to spray like the fenders and stuff blue and like retouch up paint than it is for me to reprint it, come and install it, strip the vehicle, put it back on. Like, man, like most of the race car guys are handy too. Like they can respray a car, they just can't wrap it.
Right.
So like you gotta know what your application is for one, because like sometimes paint is the right choice.
Yeah.
Like if you got a car that's really rough and you've been working on it and it's like your baby, paint might actually be the choice for you. Like if you're restoring something, I always recommend. Yeah, if you're building a car, I always recommend people just paint it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, a nice wrap job and a nice paint job are going to be fairly close in cost.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder that because you see people buying like Lambos and brand new cars and getting them wrapped.
Yeah.
Nobody paints anymore.
No.
Years ago, they would get pinstripes, a paint job, some sort of custom paint job, and everyone's just wrapping stuff now. So I didn't know where you stood on that. Yeah, I didn't know where you stood on that. If you're like anti-paint or if you're like...
No, dude, like honestly, like, so there's a guy I work with, his name's Greg. I think it's Down East Science, but he's an old school dude. He still hand pinstripes things.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal what he does.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, those pinstripes, it is a lost art, and everything's done by hand. And like, he draws the line out.
Yeah.
It's one pull from the front to the rear.
It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it's super cool to watch, man. And like, honestly, some of the time, sometimes like just something small like that is way nicer than what you would do with like a vinyl graphic.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like an old classic car, just
Yeah.
2 simple pinstripes. We'll just set it
Can't
off.
go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
it's a lot more simpler too. But
I mean, like when it comes back to the commercial advertising side of things, the wrap is the way to go.
yeah, you don't see
Yeah.
anybody doing paint on a commercial vehicle
No.
or painting anything.
It just doesn't make sense. And like vehicle graphics have some of the highest return on investment you can do, because you think of how many people look at your vehicle every day when you're driving around.
Yeah. No,
And it's a
true.
one-time cost, unlike Google. Like, you know, you might spend $300-400 with Google every month, and that's a low-end advertisement, and you might get 1 or 2 sales out of that. Whereas you can, you know, wrap your vehicle once for, let's say you got a full-size truck, and let's say you do like what I call like a half wrap, you know, so you might spend like $4,000 on it to do like from the doors back and like some cool imagery, but that's a one-time cost. So you split that up over the lifetime of your vehicle, which for a lot of people is 5 to 7 years. Like that's not a lot of money for advertising.
Yeah.
And you get a large return on that. And you know, like you said, people see you around like, oh, you're at Lowe's, you're here, you're there.
It's
like
paid off. One of the best
Yeah.
investments I ever did. Yeah.
Yep.
The only thing I'd say about it is like on my days off, it's my only vehicle.
It's hard to
like,
hide.
Yeah, I can't really
Yeah.
hide anywhere. I'll
Yeah.
be at like Hannaford and people are like, oh, yeah, I saw you at Hannaford. I'm like, I was just
Yeah.
getting groceries.
It's
but
Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not working, but
I gotta eat.
You did see me, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I just wonder that because I think I've seen you like tag a couple. Like,
yeah, it's an industry tag.
yeah, paint is dead.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. And then I thought about it. I'm like, paint is kind of dead. Nobody
Yeah.
really does paint jobs anymore.
No, and like, you know, so like the people doing it on like the Lambos and Porsches and stuff, like they're 100% for vanity. Like, it's
Yeah.
just because it looks cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see them on high-end cars because they got money to blow.
You
and-
see like camo ones.
Yeah.
Like the camo's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And do you do any high-end cars? Have you done any like
No, it's
like
not
sports
um,
cars or?
No, I don't do too much color change stuff. And to be honest, it's not like that market hasn't made its way to Maine yet.
Right, right.
I get called about it often, but it's always like, you know, it's always like inquiries type,
Yeah.
inquiry, just people inquiring, you
right,
know?
right. What would this cost?
Yeah.
Do you do it? Or?
And a lot of people, because of the YouTube videos and whatnot, you know, a lot of people think it's just going to cost like $2,000, $2,500. And then when they get a quote for like $4,500, they're like, whoa.
yeah, yeah. They don't realize it. That's kind of like me. I didn't realize what goes into it,
Yep.
but it's totally worth it.
Yeah. And like, you know, the color change stuff is honestly, it's more work than the commercial stuff because you have to be fussier. So
Yep.
it takes longer to do.
Yep.
Like, and people expect that, like that YouTube, like Instagram level finish, fit and finish. And to get that with everything to be nice and tucked, like it takes some time, like anywhere from 5 to 7 days to do, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some effort. And
You did mine in like 3 days, which I thought was pretty fast.
yeah,
And yeah, came out great. So personal life, what's when you clock out, any hobbies? I see you do like the race car stuff.
yeah. So I'm a huge nerd, so I love remote control cars, just remote control stuff in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I race like semi-competitively throughout like New England, more or
Okay.
less.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Honestly, it's a lot like racing a large car in
Yeah.
the sense like you have to tune it and set it up, and you're changing like shock fluid and diff oils and things like that.
That is cool. They got the shocks and everything.
Yeah.
Tires. Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe you go to a track and like there's less traction, so you need a softer suspension to get more bite out of the
Yeah.
tires. So like you're dumping like your shock fluid and changing the spring rates.
Did you work at one, or did you rap at a race? I think I saw you at one time, maybe doing logos for them or doing.
I've done a couple banners and stuff for
Yeah,
some of the
I
tracks
think that's what
around.
it
Yeah.
was. You did
Yeah,
a
I did a
banner.
banner not long ago for
Yeah.
Maximus Raceway in York.
and that's an indoor track.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we run year round because of that, which is great.
So could I just go and watch that, or you got to pay
yeah.
to?
No, you can come watch for free.
That's cool.
Yeah, we race Wednesdays and Friday nights.
No shit. My
Yeah.
buddy's got one. Then he said it does like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
Like those
Some of them are
things-
fast.
Yeah,
it's
they
crazy.
rip, and they
Yeah.
you can hear them humming when they
Oh,
go
yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
they're cool. Yeah, I just picked up one for dirt, so that should be fun.
So race cars and gym. I see you've been hitting the gym too.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my thing. I pretty much go to the gym and do
Race-
nerdy stuff and
race
race
cars.
cars.
Hey,
Yeah,
no, dude, that's
I wrap things and go to the
That's
gym.
not
and,
nerdy. That's like being a
and
kid
draw.
again.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
like
much. I'm
being a
basically
kid.
just a big kid. It's
Yeah.
great.
No, that's sweet. That's real sweet.
Yeah, so that's, you know, I've been into like health and fitness for like 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I was a lot heavier when I was a kid, and I also had I suffered from migraines for years. and I still do, but they've gotten better because I've learned how to eat.
Yep.
And
just bad dieting, bad food.
Yeah. Like there's a ton of triggers for migraines. Like there's tons of foods that can trigger it. It's not necessarily that they will, because everybody's trigger is different, because everybody's, biological makeup is different.
Right.
But so I got into eating healthier, and I noticed that it was helping. So then I started going to the gym at the same time. And like, I just noticed my body changing for the better. And I kind of just got hooked. I just got hooked on the feeling.
Addicting.
It just feels so
it's
good.
So addictive. I just signed up. I've been at the gym now 60 days, and it's probably one of the best
That's
things.
Awesome, dude.
One of the best things I've ever done, dude.
That's awesome.
Feels so good.
Yeah.
That when I leave the gym, I'm almost like high.
Yeah,
it's
that's
the weirdest thing. It's like
I know what you're saying.
serotonin.
Yeah.
You feel good. You look good. You see results. Sleeping better. Eating better.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe we'll have to lift sometime or
Let's
something.
do it, man.
Where do you work out?
Impact Fitness in the the Lincoln Mill. Yeah, the Lincoln Mill in Biddeford.
Nice.
Yeah, but I like to travel around though, so I'll go anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to start my own wrap business, and I'm in Presque Isle. I'm not your competitor, or I'm in I'm New Hampshire or somewhere farther away. I want to start a wrap business. I want to do this, do logos. What's your advice? What do you recommend to someone that's trying to do this, or that might do something similar to this?
Yep.
Or someone that's just starting up? What's the best advice you could give them, and what do you not recommend to them too?
100% practice on your own stuff, like over and over and over again.
Like wrap your own stuff? Or that's
like,
a good idea.
Wrap your own vehicle, because like you will mess stuff up the first few times, and like you won't like break anything,
right?
But like, some lights come out weird, some handles come off a little funky, like actually this is I got a good one. So I was doing this Mazda 3, and you're like, yeah, whatever, handles are no big deal. You kind of look at it. So I'm looking at it, I take it apart, and then I'm going to put it back together, and the Mazda has this weird step where you reach in through the door, and like there's this weird spring-loaded clamp, and you got to like reach in with one hand, pull it back in a weird way, and like jiggle like the handle in from the outside. So you're doing this really weird like reach around the car.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I heard this noise, which is like, it was like a spring coming undone, which is like not a noise you want to hear when you're inside a car.
Yeah. Especially someone else's too.
Exactly. Yeah. So like I've got this guy's car, and I'm supposed to be putting it back together, and it's not really working out. So I'm like, dude, I'm just having some issues with the car for a second. Nothing weird, but like, just give me a moment.
Yeah, let me figure this out.
Yeah, so I did a bunch of digging, and I was actually able to find like YouTube is almost useless for this stuff. Like it's kind of useful, but kind of not.
Right.
But you can actually get access to like manufacturers like Mazda tech logs or tech books.
Yep.
And like it cost me like $30 or whatever for the day, and like when you're just starting, like everything is a lot of money.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So like $30 is nothing, but like it's also like it adds up real fast.
It eats the profit a little bit. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And when you have like 30 here, 30 here, 40 here, like, well, there's $100, right?
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to, I guess what I'm getting at is like, don't be afraid to pay for the correct things from the beginning, because it will make your life easier.
Yep.
So, and that includes like not just materials, but like education too. So like,
that's a good point.
Like, I feel like that's something that a lot of people overlook.
Yep.
And there's a lot of resources out there too. Like the Rap Institute is great. If you wanted to binge watch rap videos.
What is the Rap Institute? Is that a YouTube page, or what is it?
Sort of, yeah. It's an online learning institute that is focused entirely around the vinyl industry. So this guy, I think Justin Pate, I think is his name. He started this a while back, basically to educate the industry and kind of help bring everybody up to the same level of standards. Because that's something you'll find, like if you poke around a lot, and as our market gets more saturated up here in Maine, you're going to find that there's a huge range of standards when it comes to vinyl stuff. And some of the practices are kind of frowned upon, like using primer or like cutting on vehicles and
right and wrongs.
Yeah, there is a right way to put something, like to do something so that it lasts.
Yep.
But I think so like if you wanted to binge watch something, I would skip a lot of the YouTube stuff and just pay the $15 or $20 a month it is for like a legitimate like educational video.
class. Yeah, someone that knows what they're doing too.
Yeah, because it will save you hours and hours and tons of money in frustration trying to learn things on your own.
Yeah.
Because like I know, like I learn by doing things. I can watch someone and go like start messing with it, but like, and a lot of other people can too. But like you're still gonna mess up a lot. So the more you can learn ahead of time, like and the correct way to do it, like you won't start going down a path that ends up being the wrong path.
Right.
And then you find yourself like stuck and kind of pigeonholed, and you're trying to back out of it, and it doesn't really work out.
So the best to sum it up would be, you know, don't be afraid to pay for the extra education and tools up front, and then practice on your own stuff. Yeah. Practice on maybe friends or family or something.
That's what I did.
Start out kind of slow before you.
And like I think if you really were serious about it, so I did this where I used to work is we got some old pieces from a truck. It was an old Chevy. We had like a door and a bedside and like a front fender. And when I would train somebody new, I would use those pieces.
Oh, that's cool.
So like
you don't have to do the whole vehicle. You can just wrap. Yeah.
So pick the hard stuff. So like pick a bumper, pick something with a lot of curves. Flat things are easy.
Right.
Curvy things aren't. So pick something that's hard and then time yourself. Just do it every day.
Yep.
But that's it. Like don't beat the dead horse though. Like just do it once that day.
Right. That's great advice.
And then come in the next day, do it again. Strip it, do it again. Strip it, do it again. And eventually you build the repetition, builds speed, consistency. And then like when you start doing other things, you can go, oh, okay, I know how to handle this curve because I practiced on this bumper a million times.
Right.
So then like what was once a daunting task, you're like, oh, okay. You just show up and do it.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I got to give you props for is how versatile you are. I mean, you work with the marijuana industries. You work with, you just said the RC place, the racer car, Neely Crane.
Keeley Crane Service.
Keeley Crane. I didn't pronounce it right. A wide variety, construction businesses.
Yeah. I do another big one in town.
Like you don't discriminate or any. Cream, you'll work for anybody. Ice cream. Dude. Yeah. I mean,
anybody, anything, whatever, man. I just like to work with good people. That's kind of my thing.
Fishing boats, fishing charters. Yeah. So it's like you can wrap anything, work with anybody, which is pretty cool. Some people kind of just stay in one lane. Yep. And you really are wide open to whatever. I feel like someone could call you and be like, I want to wrap my spaceship.
I'd be in.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, let's wrap it. That's cool.
Yeah, I just like working with different people. Yeah, I meet a lot of different folks, and I find that because of what I do, I kind of end up being like an intermediary for a lot of people. They'll go, "Hey, do you know how to do this?" I'm like, "No, but I got the guy for you." Yeah. So
I know the guy that can do it.
Yeah.
So each episode is gonna have a word of the episode. Every episode is gonna be different, and I picked patience for you. Yep. And what does that word mean to you, and how does it resonate with your business? You know, how important is being patient or patience with your work? Or
it's honestly very important.
Being patient with clients or
everything, man. Like everything needs patience. Like being a good human takes patience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, waking up in the morning, dealing with issues, like to me, like being patient is how I get through my day without like wanting to like
freak out
and like you know, and do something like that. But
especially doing your work where it's so like hands on, you're working on cars, you're doing detailed stuff. Yeah, you really can't rush a wrap.
So I got a saying I use a lot, and I tell to a lot of people is slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
That's a good one.
So like it doesn't really mean work slow, but it just means to take your time and think ahead of what you're doing. Because, you know, at first when you try to be slow and smooth, you will be really, really freaking slow. Like, and you're gonna be like, oh, I got this in 4 hours. But you start taking your time, and now 4 hours is like you're not even halfway done. You're like, oh, crap. But what that does is like, it will teach you patience because you're looking at the clock, and you're like, I got to speed this up. But if you try to rush, you'll mess up. But if you take your time and you're smooth and you try to avoid mistakes, you'll usually finish your day ahead of schedule. Yeah. Because everything starts to fall in place and you catch a rhythm and then things start to take off. And then without realizing it, you've picked up the pace.
Yep. My thing is slow and steady.
Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Same thing.
Always wins the race.
Consistency
kills.
If
you rush and you mess it up, you just double timed. You got to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
So if you just do it slow, steady, and right the first time, like you said, you look down at the clock and you're like, oh, it's actually 3:00 and I'm done early. Like,
Yeah.
and
I got an hour to spare.
Yeah, I got an hour to spare, and
Yeah.
it's done right.
Right.
I don't have to go
Yep.
back twice, or I don't have to fix it, or
Yeah.
but
Or like the thing for me is, in my case, is like, or anybody that does custom work for that matter, is a lot of times it's a one-time deal. Like, you got one shot to do it right.
right.
Like, when I print something that's like 20 feet long,
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only rip I get.
Yeah,
like,
you're not
that's
going to
it.
print another one, or once
No.
it's sticking on, it's stuck on.
Or if I do, like, in some cases you do have to reprint it because you messed it up that bad. But if you have to reprint it, you just took a huge chunk out of your profit margin.
yeah.
So now, instead of actually making money, you're just able to pay yourself for the day, and the business isn't making money, so you can't grow.
Yeah, you can't really tell them
Like,
you
you
messed
can't-
up, or you.
Well, I mean, even if you
can,
do,
but-
like I'll usually tell someone I messed up a panel, and I go, "Yo, I fixed it," just so they,
Right.
because I think that builds a good like customer relationship when you're open with
You're
things.
honest.
Yeah.
Your past. I want to say you had a ski company.
I did at one point. Yeah.
and that was
Yeah.
like young.
Yeah, I
what
was
the
like-
name of that?
Volition.
Volition.
Yeah.
That was right out of high school.
Right out of college.
Yeah.
So I was freshly 21.
So you've been kind of like an entrepreneur for a little bit now.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was younger, and I was kind of like, wow, he's got his own ski company. Like,
Yeah.
That was. What
That was a good time.
Yeah. What was that about?
So that
you were
started-
making your own skis.
Yeah, I was making my own skis.
Yeah.
So that started as my senior capstone project for when I was at Maine in Orono.
Yeah.
I was in the new media program, which is like, I don't even know how to explain new media, man. It's like web design and photography and art and
New media
programming.
Yeah.
The new style of media. And so like I had started this other project where I forget what I named it, but the premise of it was it was basically an RFID system for motorcyclists, and when you would pass, it would trade information with them.
That's cool.
So you could it was like a mobile
like swapping info while you drive by.
dude,
them?
it was
That's,
like a drive-by business card.
That's pretty cool. That might be onto something now.
So like I actually got fairly deep into it, and where I was about to order parts and shit to start building like boards or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just not feeling it. Like I wasn't into it. I was like, all I want to do is make skis.
Yeah.
So I pretty much walked into my capstone class. I was like, I'm scrapping this, and this is what I'm doing. And they were like, well, how's that new media? And I was like, well, tell me how it isn't.
Yeah.
It's new media to me, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
new.
It's
We're
new.
using new tech to do it.
Yeah, I'm making, logos for it. I'm doing. You were selling them. Did you actually sell some and
Yeah, I did,
turn a
yeah.
profit? Yeah.
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 I don't know about turning a profit, but I had a lot of fun.
Hey, yeah. No, that was
Yeah.
that was a while ago.
It was,
So
yeah.
like I look back at that and think you've had that mentality at even a young age. That's when people
Yeah.
were college and partying and nobody really knew what they were going to do. And you were
Yeah.
already like, I'm going to start a business.
Yeah. So like, dude, like growing up, if you would, and I remember these conversations, like if you had asked me growing up what I wanted to do, I just wanted to be self-employed.
Yep.
I didn't know what though. That's the thing. And I think that's probably what has attributed to a lot of my wandering
Yep.
throughout the years, is because like, I don't really like working for people.
Yeah, me either. I can't take authority. I don't like being told
Yeah.
what to do.
I like working with people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't like working for people. And there's a very big difference. Like, and I've done both. Like I've worked with people and it's been great. And then I've had people where I worked for them and like they try to control you too much and don't really let you do what you do.
You limit you.
Yeah.
Limit your skills.
Or they stunt your growth.
Yeah,
and
they
you
stunt your
can't,
growth. Absolutely.
can't do what you really feel like you should be doing.
Yep. I've had people do that to me. I feel like they were kind of choking my growth. They didn't want to see you grow, or they didn't want to do any new ideas.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do any updating or anything.
No.
And it can be frustrating when you're a creative or
and like, they want you to come up with an idea or they want you to take control of something, but they won't actually let you take control of something.
Yep. No, good for you, man. You've been doing it for a while, and it sounds like you kind of found your niche. You found your spot.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Feels like I found it.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
you did, man. For
It
where
feels
you're
like
at and what you've done in just 3 years' time is pretty impressive.
Thanks, dude.
And the people that are working with you, you're getting some pretty big names, some pretty
I
big
appreciate
brands.
that.
I want to say the town. I saw you working with municipals, some of
Yeah.
the towns.
Yeah, I think it was Limerick actually.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
even the towns are starting to work. That's pretty cool when
Yeah.
you're starting to get state involved. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like you're legit.
No, it's been fun, man. I work with a huge, diverse range of people.
Yeah, no,
Like I literally go from like cranes one day to ice cream trucks the next day
Yeah,
to
yeah.
race cars. Like it's
gyms.
super cool. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
wicked cool. So I guess leading to that, what's next? What's next for Northeast Wraps? Is there a shop in the future? Do you want more guys? I mean,
so I've been thinking about that, and I think a shop space is probably like the future. Even though most of what I do is mobile. So like I go to most of my customers because a lot of them have their own spot in their own shop, and they're fully, functioning business. They got, 10, 20, 30 employees, and it sounds like they'd have the time to be able to get somebody to drive a vehicle over, but half the time they just don't. And when you're not working, you're not making money.
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of where I come in, and so I tend to be a little bit more because of that, because I am willing to get up and go and lug all my tools and shit. But like, it gets the job done without them taking time off the road. And I feel like a lot of people appreciate that. So like the shop space wouldn't really like detract from that, because it's still a huge portion of what I do. But I feel like it would let me take on more creative projects that require a little bit more time and a little bit more cleanliness.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like
maybe a little more space too.
Yeah, a little bit more workroom, things like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to pull in bigger vehicles. Like I'd like to be able to start doing buses and trailers easier.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
I like doing big projects.
Yeah.
Like that's like my favorite thing to do is big stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like a big bus or something, or 18-wheelers or something.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Yeah.
Like the ice cream trucks I do for Thibodeau's ice cream distribution is pretty fun, because it's different.
Yeah.
They're a little bit bigger. So like, and I do those as one piece. So like they're like 20-foot long panels that are like 5 feet tall. So it's just fun for me to do something big like that. And it's like, well, that's why the boats are fun for me, because you get a 30-foot boat, and the vinyl's 60 inches wide. So you got a 60-inch wide piece that's 30 feet long, and we pull the backer right off that sucker and we go to town. And it's like, the first one I did was like incredibly scary and daunting.
I bet.
And then after it came out like great, we were like, okay, let's do another one.
Yeah,
and like
it's addicting.
It's addicting, yeah.
Once
and
you do
I like that heart race feeling you get when you're like, dude, I can't screw this up, because it's a ton of money out the door. Like,
and then you're like, I can do it.
Yeah,
I did it.
Yeah, the sense of accomplishment is huge. It's like the best feeling.
You should tape that sometime. That'd be cool to watch. I'm interested how that. You should do like
I've thought about
a fast time frame. You know what I mean? Where they speed it up, and that'd be pretty cool. Get a video of it, because I really can't picture how that looks in my head. I know you got like a piece of vinyl and whatnot, but it'd be cool to watch.
I might have a couple of videos I can unearth for that.
Yeah, yeah, you should.
I'm really hesitant. I'm always hesitant to post myself installing stuff.
Yeah, I get it. Sometimes you don't want people to see the tricks or the trade.
There's some of that,
There's a lot of pausing.
Yeah.
You might sit and take a drink or something.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to watch the process, is what I'm saying, to see how it's done, and see you do like a big job or something.
Yeah, I should start doing more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because people do like it. You're not the first person to say that.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Well, maybe I'll be motivated now to do it.
Yeah, hey, motivate. Yeah,
right.
We can get Sam. Sam can video. He can video it for you. Or
something. Yeah, that's right. We got the man.
Have him do the.
Yeah, maybe I will.
The video. We're getting towards the end, and gonna kind of end it with questions.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions for your clients, for the audience, for me?
Well, what motivates you?
It is a good question. I haven't even thought about it to myself.
Oh,
I would definitely say, I know it's going to sound bad, but I would definitely say money. Being comfortable, having money to do things.
I don't think that's really a bad thing though. Like,
I don't want to say it's like selfish, but
it's security, right?
Security. I like having nice things, having nice clothes, being able to afford what I want, and success. I think that's another one. Being able to be acknowledged and successful, and waking up every day and just, progress. I love seeing progress. I love seeing one thing after the next, seeing myself grow, seeing like the rap, and seeing like that helps out. And I'll jot things down. I doodled that rap in colored pencils.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I stick it up on my wall.
Yeah.
And last year I did it with a pontoon boat. And I got a pontoon boat for my work, and I stuck it up on my wall. And this year I'm getting a pontoon boat. So it's all about seeing the process is probably the best part too. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that is enjoy the process. 100%. They think about the end goal, but enjoy the whole process, the come up, the growth, stop and look, and look back. But I would definitely say money.
Yeah.
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 That's what motivates me.
Dude, I guess
I don't have a wife yet. I would say her next if I had a
that's
wife.
fair.
Yeah.
I guess all money motivates me too as well, because everybody likes having money in the bank, right?
Yeah.
But I think like, the security thing is a big
Security,
for me too.
absolutely.
And like, I think COVID times did a number, like kind of brought that to light for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is like financial security is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. COVID really changed a lot of things.
So like, I guess for me is like knowing that I'm able, like if something happens, I can afford a week off. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
Like
and you're
having
safe.
that security, like knowing my bills are paid for a little bit and that money's there is like huge.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. It's a little bit of everything. Being able to, I like going down to Key West.
Yeah.
Taking a vacation.
Yeah. Like my wife and I like to go to Outer Banks.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. And being able to have the funds to do that, to be able to take the time off, that's understandable. So where can we find you? Give us your website. What's your Instagram?
Yeah. So you can find me. Plug. You can find me at northeastraps.com.
Okay.
Or Northeast Raps northeastraps.com.
Wow, you got that domain name.
I did. Yeah. Yep.
And it's got all your work on there, and it's got your picture.
Yeah, it's got a goofy picture of me smiling like this, cheesing.
Nice.
It's got all the latest work I've posted on Instagram because I'm really bad at updating stuff. Yeah. So like, I should probably work on that. I am on Instagram, also Northeast Raps.
Northeast Raps, Facebook.
I'm on Facebook with Northeast Raps too, but if you message me on Facebook, I won't message you back.
Yeah, Facebook's that's a tough one. I get people that message me and they get hidden sometimes.
I have so I set up an autoresponder that just tells people to call me or email because I won't respond to you.
That's a good one. Mine's an autorespond.
Dude, honestly, it's done a really good job of weeding out tire kickers.
Yeah.
Because anybody serious will just pick up the phone.
Right.
And I've learned that. So most people who call me, and say they message me on Facebook, almost guaranteed to do work with because they actually need to get something done.
Yeah. They're not just shooting you a Facebook message and seeing what it costs or trying to get a number out of you.
Well, that's what Facebook's turned into, is like, because most people are scrolling at night, right? Or after hours when they're done work. So like, they're just like, oh, what's this cost? What's that cost? With no real intent of actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Which is like, not to say I haven't gotten anything off Facebook, because, for some businesses that works, like that's their thing. But for what I do, it just doesn't work.
I get a lot of business off Facebook. I'm not going to lie. It does help people that friends and family members, but it doesn't really let you display your work a lot. I think
it's tough. It hides it a lot.
Yeah, it does. So if they go to your Instagram, does it got your number? Does it got your website?
Yeah, you can find my number there. 207-200-5255.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
DM you and get your info.
Yep. Give me a ring too. I'm not always good about picking up the phone because my hands are always busy.
Right.
Just leave a voicemail. I'll get back to you though.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a pretty laid back approach to the way I do business.
You are pretty laid back. I'll give that to you. But you still get shit done. You still get it done. You send it out. You respond. But I never felt like pressured or stressed or like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that myself. I don't like salesman people. Like that's just not my thing. So like, so I've been told I don't sell enough, but that's just not my thing. Like if somebody approaches me or I go into a business and they're pushy, I will walk out.
Yeah. I
will not spend my money. Even if you have something I want or need, I just won't spend my money with you because I don't want to be pressured into buying something.
No, that makes sense.
And I just don't like that. So like I try not to do that to others. So like, I'll follow up with somebody, but I'm not going to go like, yo, you want to do this? I'll give you 10%
You still want that wrap?
Yeah.
You also probably don't need to. You're that busy where you don't have to do that anymore. People call you.
Yeah. And my biggest thing is trying to build up that repeat business. And like, that's been working out. Like, and the biggest thing is just building trust with people and a good repertoire. And
you know what I think would be cool is if you got in with the towns more and did like the fire trucks, the cop cars.
Yeah.
And got a bid every year, and you did, Saco police, all their fleets. And
I'd love to do the transportation buses.
And they're going to do it every year. They'll come back to you and you sign some contract or something.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys do them like every 3 months too, like those buses.
I think they probably have to, or they probably have to update them.
I would do the cop car stuff. But my buddy does the fire department stuff, so I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah, you don't want to step on his toes.
Yeah, plus he's really good at it too. So.
Yeah. Chris actually did the logo for the podcast, which I'm going to show. I don't think it's 100%.
No, we got some tweaks to
make. But I still want to kind of show it.
Yeah, do that. We got some tweaks to make, though.
Zoom in, or if we can... Which I thought was pretty cool. I called you on the phone about it and said I want to start a podcast about Maine and have like Maine incorporated with it. And the first like 2 minutes, you're like, yeah, we should do like a lighthouse with a microphone. I'm like,
yeah, I remember that.
Like, genius. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, we should just do that. I was super impressed. And then you kind of sat on it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about it a little bit. And then when you sent it to me, I was like, yeah, that is on point, man. Like,
right on, dude.
Pretty cool. So I think the other thing I want to say is you do logos.
Yeah,
you're not just doing, you're starting to do design, and it's not just wraps. Like, you can do a logo, you can make a caption, a logo, design something. So
yeah, I guess excited. Like, so I'll just go ahead and say it, because I've been toying around with the idea of like branching off, because like, and starting like a separate like design company instead. Well, not instead, but like to go along side by side with it, because like, I have like my history, I have more time doing like corporate branding than anything else really. So like I've done a ton of stuff with Irving, Consolidated Communications, SharePoint, like just bigger companies in general.
Yeah.
And the way they handle their brand is actually pretty impressive. And like, even though it seems a little over the top to a lot of people, like the reason you can remember those brands is because of the way they utilize their mark. And so like seeing that firsthand has helped me translate it to smaller businesses.
Yep. I can tell, because this is almost like it's almost like a legitimate big brand. Like, I get where you're going with it. There's low level branding, and then there's actual legitimate branding.
Yeah. And like,
you're kind of on that track for sure.
And like, that's kind of always sort of been my thing. Like, if you take your logo, you should be able to take your logo and print it in black and white. If you can't do that, go back to the drawing board. Like,
that's a good point.
It's kind of useless if you can only put it in color. You can't really use it that well. That'll work in black and white. I already tried it.
Yeah.
I saw you looking at it.
I don't even think of that. Yeah. I don't even think of that stuff. No, that's cool.
And like, the other thing I like to do that I took away from the bigger brands is they'll a lot of times use like just an element from their logo instead of the entire thing. And so like Nike, right, is just a swoosh now. Like, it's both, but
right.
A lot of times they just stamp it with the swoosh. Same as Adidas, they remove the name, just use the emblem.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
A lot of bigger brands do the same thing.
Yep. No, I'm excited to see. I mean, I think this is like there, but you said you got some tweaks to do, which is fine, and we can constantly work on it and evolve. But I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely really cool. You hit it right on the mark. So
thanks, dude.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate you coming. It's good to see you.
Absolutely.
We're definitely gonna have you come back.
Yes, dude. Redux.
You're probably gonna do a wrap for my pontoon boat.
I'm down.
Some sort of.
I did a custom pontoon boat last summer, and it came out pretty dope.
I'm definitely gonna use you again for something. Recommend you, and just kind of put you out there. But that's kind of it for the show. So
cool, man. Please
like and subscribe, and go to our page, share, tag. We have an Instagram page, Motivate_me 207, and share this as much as we can. Looking for sponsors, anyone that wants to do a promo or a shout out for the business, we will promote your business and, read a little plug and put it out there and send traffic your way. As of now, this is all out of pocket, and that's fine, but it'd be nice to have some help. So please share away and view and subscribe. Motivate Me, episode 1 out.
I love it.